So Guildford Fringe Festival returning for its second year. Even more this year as the event gets bigger and more diverse. And one of the shows is the story of an actress's struggle to write a one-woman play about her heroine, Emily Dickinson. Now, 14 years later, and Edie Campbell has attracted rave reviews for her show that sees her making sense of her own life through Emily's letters and poems. Now, Edie joins me on the line now. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
So it's been a real mission, hasn't it, all these years?
It has been, absolutely.
Where did it all start?
When I was 17 and at school, in the school library, found a slim volume of Emily's poetry on the shelves, read it in one sitting and was absolutely hooked. That's how it started. Went on from there.
And you decided that you wanted to perform a one-woman play, but
That's right.
It wasn't as easy maybe as you originally anticipated.
No, not nearly. I started working on it with a friend in 1986, then moved to America, found a director to work on it with me, just couldn't get it together at all, was trying to use only Emily's own words, and that got really complicated, and then finally met Jack, and in 1999... So 14 years later, we created a play when Jack said, what's fascinating is your passion for Emily. That's what we need to put on the stage, and not just try and tell Emily's story, but tell yours alongside it. And at first I said, no way, no way.
It's very personal, isn't it? Revealing so much about your own life.
That's right.
Was that uncomfortable for you at certain times, or are you completely fine with that now?
I'm completely fine with it now. It was really terrifying at the beginning, and I was afraid that it would just be purely self-indulgent and navel-gazing, but the feedback we've received has been amazing, and people come up afterwards and share some of their life story with me, and I feel that to be a real privilege.
Yeah, because of course so many of us have very similar experiences in life, and I suppose that gives it something that people can really relate to and empathise.
That's right, as well as the kind of hero-heroine worship, as well as projects that we're working on that never seem to reach completion, so yeah.
And that's the whole thing, isn't it, about poetry, or about us relating to great works of literature. We do so because we in some way relate our own lives to it.
That's right, because they really speak to us, or even speak for us. That's what I felt about Emily, was that she was able to put into words what I was thinking and feeling far more fluently and powerfully than I could, and I feel like I've spent the rest of my life measuring my experiences against hers, or expressing them through her words, really.
What was it then that particularly stood out to you when you first encountered her work?
Oh, unrequited love.
You were going through your typical teenage years, weren't you? And I suppose that as you've gone through life, that different work and different pieces of poetry have related to different incidents in your life.
Yes, that's right. She became the primary carer for her mother, as I did for my dad, and then later actually for my mother too. She very movingly describes her father's death, and I use her words to talk about my father's death in the play. So yes, life experiences but kind of move on and continue to be reflected.
Isn't it funny as well, because looking back and your struggle to come up with a way of getting this onto the stage, it almost sounds obvious, doesn't it? Someone coming up with the idea and saying, link it to your own life.
That's
but
right.
Of course, good ideas that you look back on and say, why didn't I think of that at the time?
Yes.
It's only once someone else has suggested it that it all seems so obvious.
Exactly, because the feedback I kept getting was, this is fantastic material, but it's just not working as a play. There's no plot, there's no kind of through line. You know, her words, her language is so rich that we can only take so much of it in one go before it kind of blows your mind and you need to go and take a break.
I love the sound of it. It sounds a wonderful production, and it's all part of the Guildford Fringe Festival. How do we find out more?
Either through the Fringe website or through G Live, the G Live website, because we're at the G Live studio next Thursday, the 10th at 7:30 p.m.
We can find out all about your life.
That's right, yes. And Emily's.
Yes, absolutely. Very good to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the programme this afternoon.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for that. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? The journey of a portrayal. What a fantastic idea.